Hi, it's Denise with DRescapes, and I have the privilege to speak today with Mr. T from the YouTube channel Educated Traveler. Thank you so much, and welcome to DRescapes.
Thank you for having me.
You know, it's been interesting talking to you because I know that you've traveled all over the world. And what made you really start focusing on the north coast of the Dominican Republic and providing this wonderful service for people who need information to think about coming here?
Well, probably like most other people, I initially checked out Dominican Republic as an option, and it seemed kind of fairly easy to get into if you wanted just to visit or even wanted to live here. And I toured around the country. I've been to Punta Cana, I've been to Las Terrenas, Jarabacoa, and other places, Santo Domingo, Santiago. But the north coast seemed very green to me, and great access to beaches. But probably the number one thing, I think, was the multicultural thing. You have a lot of Dominicans in different communities, from the poorest to the richest, and you also have the foreigners coming from all over the world. So there's a real good mix of people up here, and that makes it very interesting.
Yeah.
And for anybody who also wants to do business here, that obviously helps as well, because there's opportunities that pop up through different people who are either here or doing business overseas and so on. Why I started the YouTube channel, well, everybody likes the tropics. So
Exactly.
This place just looks good on camera.
It does.
And secondly, I think some of the frustrations I probably had amongst all the good things, I wanted to warn people about those. That was probably, to be honest, a key motivator to kick it off, because I thought, the safest way to cross a minefield is to follow somebody else's footsteps, and every country is a minefield when you think about it. There's things that can happen to you in Argentina or Peru that wouldn't happen here, and vice versa.
Right.
So why not try to teach what I've learned over the years coming here to other people, and put some videos out with straightforward information. And I try not to sugarcoat it, but I'm not trying to scare people away either.
Right.
I just say, this is the good, this is the bad you need to avoid, and this is the in-between.
Yeah, no, it is a valuable service. And like DRescapes, we can see the importance of helping people to really get information so that they can make an educated decision if the Dominican Republic is right for them. What is one of the things that was most surprising to you after coming and traveling through the Dominican Republic?
Well, there's probably a few things. The traffic, of course, is totally different here. Just they don't have the kind of infrastructure in many places as we have in some countries, with even bicycle pedestrian lights, or green and red lights for pedestrians, as well as the cars. So there's a lot of things here that are more like it probably was 50, 80 years ago in other countries. But they use body language here more, and the horn. So it's like, no, you go. Oh, gracias, And
I'm always surprised that there's not more accidents than there are, because
well, I actually think people pay attention more here than they probably do in countries where they become too dependent on the electronics to, they just, now it's green, so I can push the pedal and move forward, but they're not looking to the sides, checking whether there's a Mack truck coming, So here they've got 8 eyes, as they say, and you have to have like 8 eyes to drive in the traffic.
Okay, so the traffic, what else? Surprising.
We don't see, I don't think here, and this is me not sugarcoating it, as much police enforcement. You got to kind of learn how to handle the police down here. So that was a little bit of a surprise to me. Everybody from the shoeshine boy to the president knows how to hustle. And that means you will be approached even by police. I drive when I do a lot of my filming on a motorbike. So 2 guys on a motorbike will drive up to me and tap the tank and say, "Oh, sin gasolina. We don't have any petrol. This is the police."
Well,
and I said, "Listen to mine. I don't have any petrol either."
Yeah.
And I said, "You want to give me some?" And then there's a little bit of a
something that's interesting is that police don't make very much money. and so it does somewhat limit their enforcement, or their desire to enforce, because they're not well funded.
I'm glad you brought that up. I'd like to give you an example how I believe they could improve that whole system. There's a place here called Seahorse Ranch, which you know very well.
Of course.
And the security there
is excellent.
It's excellent because from what I've heard, they pay them better. But what happens is when you start paying people better, you lift your own standards on who you choose to recruit. Because it's like, hey, I'm going to pay this much more, so you better have these qualifications, you better prove this, this, and that, and I want to know more about your background. Where it just seems with the general police, if you can spit, chew gum, and fog up a mirror, you got the job. So I think what they need to do, pay them double, but expect 3 times more. Mm-hmm. And then you have law enforcement instead of law abuse, which some of them sometimes engage in. Yeah,
exactly. So you've traveled all over the country and the Dominican Republic, but your YouTube channel really focuses sometimes more here on the North Coast. What do you think is the appeal of the North Coast of the Dominican Republic?
Well, this keeps my overheads down staying up here, but actually a lot of my topics are more on the culture.
Right.
If I happen to be hanging out in Santiago, I could do the same videos there.
Exactly.
Because if I'm doing one, like, just take one of my videos, the Haitians and Dominican relationship there, sometimes animosity, that I could do anywhere in the country.
Exactly.
But, why drive to the other end of the country to film a clip with a guy called Jose when I can drive down the street here to a guy called Jose?
Yeah.
And they're all under the same laws in the country.
Right.
So that relationship pretty much I have found is the same if you ask a Dominican here or a Dominican in La Vega or Dominican in Jarabacoa. They still have the same things to say about the Haitians and vice versa.
Exactly, exactly.
Just as an example.
Yeah. You've done so many different topics. Which video did you get the most views? Do you know?
Yeah, the lives of the Dominican people. Mm-hmm. If you put I think on most computers, because they got cookies that are different and so forth, but if you put culture Dominican Republic, it usually ends right up at the top anyway.
Okay.
So, and that did that from day number 1. So I get a lot of the word organic traffic from that specific video, where others haven't landed as high in terms of keywords and all that kind of thing. So that one's up to, I think, nearly 300,000 views on that one video.
Excellent. So with that kind of success and helping people, what are your plans? What's your future look like here?
Well, I hope to meet people like Robert De Niro one day.
Well, maybe we'll have some choice words to say about you.
I'll be more than world famous in Sosua. But no, what are my plans? Just put out more videos. I've actually got quite a bucket list there for videos to make, because it seems like you probably know this. Mm-hmm. Every day we learn something new. Exactly. And it seems like nearly every day, or at least a couple of times a week, there's new topics that pop up. Oh, I should make a video on this. I should make a video on that. It could be a Dominican that takes you out to visit his family, and then suddenly you see and notice things you've never noticed before. Right. And wow, the world doesn't know about this. What if I put that on video, kind of thing? Right. No, yeah. I think that's excellent. And so then what's your next video that you have in the pipe right now? The one I'm working on is how foreigners, or we call ourselves expats if we are expatriating to different countries, how expats, they fund their lives, how they actually afford to live in the tropics. And that's right from the poorest surfer to the wealthiest people who may have investments coming in all the time overseas, and they can just focus on living and not worrying about where to make money, Yeah. So I think that's wonderful, because I know that is a really important question for DRescapes subscribers, for ones who are doing any kind of research to
to live here is how are they going to fund their life, and so that's an excellent topic. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time with DRescapes, and we just really hope for your continued success and really appreciate when we find ones of like minds that are trying to help people to realize what a beautiful, wonderful place that we found here in the Dominican Republic. Of course, with you cannot always have paradise without, what did you say?
You have to keep the dice in paradise.
Okay, there we go.
I coined that one myself.
Exactly. We won't steal that one.
May I mention one last thing?
Of course.
If you are too busy yourself and anybody wants to get a service about this specific area, I know you're the expert on most of the country, but I've spent a lot of time Sosua and Cabarete, so I have a lot of connections. So I run a new service called Relocation Advisory Service. So if people wanted additional help, contact Denise. She can send it forward to me or whatever you feel comfortable with.
Of course.
But this is really about helping people get a smooth start and a continued smooth running while settling in here.
Exactly. So thank you again.
Thank you.
And continue to look for future videos from The Educated Traveler, of course, from DRescapes. And thank you. And we'll see you later here at DRescapes.